Y'all, we are here in the first of our series of Pig Royalty Unscripted. I just branded that.
You said
I don't
that
think
like
that's
it was
real.
a PBS special.
Pig Royalty Unscripted, hosted by Bill Moyers.
It's true. We are so excited that this is the best show we think on television. And
100%.
We have two of the nicest, but also badass women from the show. Kim McCullough
and Theresa. Theresa, what name do you go by?
I don't know your last name, Theresa.
Diaz.
Theresa Diaz.
I just say Theresa Nugget
because she was known as Theresa.
I say Nugget because y'all are the Golden Nugget team.
The Golden Nugget team. Yes. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thank you for being here with us. We live in LA, and I've met celebrities, and I don't fan out. I get a little nervous, like talking and meeting people from Pig Royalty because I love so much.
It's because it's such a different. It's what's so exciting, I think, for a lot of us is it feels like a different life that a lot of us know. Like both of us are from the South, and he's from Oklahoma, and we lived in Texas, but we never knew this part of Texas. So it's so exciting to get to see this part of life and pig shows and the Shakespearean drama of it all. So I just want to start out just by a couple of questions. Like Kim, we'll just do Kim. Kim, how did you decide I want to show pigs?
Well, I did not decide. My daughters. I'm not from Texas, and I don't think that really got aired at all in season 1. I'm actually from Detroit, so I'm not yeah. So all this
that's you don't take shit.
I get a little Detroit. I can get a little hood every once in a while. But the girls, my daughters are raised in Texas, and they wanted to show. And my oldest, she started with lambs, and then I have 4 daughters, and so I just numbered them. So number 1 started with lambs, and number 2 got into pigs, and it kind of just went from there.
That's so cool.
So you never had any experiences before, and was it? Is it Jordan the only daughter that's been into pigs, or are you planning a Bolero dynasty of daughters who are showing pigs?
Well, actually, Jordan's my youngest. So Jordan, my daughter Ashley, she did pigs. Morgan did pigs, and Jordan did pigs. So, but it was never our intention to grow it into some dynasty. We figured at some point our grandkids, will show. But we fell in love with it, and then we fell in love with the community, the 4-H community, the FFA community, and it's been very important for me, for my daughters to give back. So that's how this kind of just kept going, is that they get involved with helping the younger generation. And now I have, a grandchild that she's old enough to show. So the girls are, Morgan and Jordan are helping her. And, I got a couple more grandkids coming up the way that'll be, showing as well. So but in the interim, we love helping everybody. I mean, that's just us.
That's part of, it's part of you get what you give. And we're multiplying the joy we see in the world.
Well, and that's just part of, I know from growing up, that is 4-H and FFA. It's all about showing pigs, but everything is service related or fundraising for other causes. Like that is kind of, and that I don't think that gets talked about. You started to talk about this some in this season, but I knew that is.
We have JCs in where I grew up. That was our 4-H.
So but it's kind of a core principle of doing these type of things. At least my understanding of that.
It is. It's very true. It's giving back. I was going to try to throw out some of the 4-H motto, and now it just disappeared. I was trying to go through it, but it just went away. I'm having a blonde moment.
That's fine. So Theresa, how did you? We know you're related to Michelle, but besides Michelle, what made you guys? What made Nugget? What made you want to say, let's do pigs?
Well, I'm related to Roy, not Michelle.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
The Boleros in general.
Yeah. It was actually their idea. Like, we didn't grow up with raising animals, and so we had gone to a couple of the girls' shows, and Nugget likes attention, and so he's like, "Ooh, I can have people cheering for me. I'm all about that." And so that was like one of the biggest things. But we didn't show pigs right away. We had goats and pigs. So he's a 5-year-old with like 8 pigs and 4 goats, and the goats are a pain in the ass. They are so stubborn. And this poor little boy, I mean, he would walk, and we had a hill that we would walk up to. And so those goats would like drag him down the hill. And he was like, "I hate goats, Mom. I hate goats." I was like, "Okay, we'll just stick with pigs." And we
We
could.
had we had goats as a child, and they my mother got rid of them when one butted her into a fence that was electric.
They are mean. And
They
And
can be.
she got rid of the 2 goats the next day.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think a pivotal part of this season for both of y'all, like I remember Who Shot JR, the finale of Lost, and whose team is Nugget going to choose to be on? Because we were breathless the way that way that episode was filmed and done. Like, was it as dramatic decision as what we saw on our screens for
It was
Nugget?
extremely dramatic, yes. Because Nugget was broke down. He was done showing. He didn't want to do it anymore. It was a horrible experience for both of us. And it was heartbreaking to see this little boy who shined so well in showing it, and he loved it, and then to be where he didn't want to do it anymore. So
Right.
it was a big deal. It was very,
It's,
traumatic.
and one of the things we say, one of the things we say about reality shows in general is we're students by now and experts, I guess, in some way. But you can tell who's a star on television, and Nugget's just a star.
Oh, thank
And
you.
because he's got such a certain authenticity, and I know you can see that too, Kim, when Nugget is just in all of his interviews, and anytime he's talking to, whether it's anybody dealing with the Reens or the kids with the Reen kids, but Nugget is just himself.
He is.
And that's just, it's such a wonderful thing for a kid to don't think they have to perform in front of a camera like we were. We were performers.
Really, though, it like Kim, Nugget kind of brought you out of, I guess you were planning on, at least it seemed like on the show, you were planning on going to, like, your career was golden pig barns. You were hanging it up. And did Nugget kind of, the way the show promoted it was like Nugget kind of brought you out and you said, you know what? Let's make a team. Like, let's support this kid. What kind of was the moment where you went, I got to do this?
Well, we were initially retiring. We actually had sold some of our equipment, and we were going to start that next phase. Kids, all my kids in college. And then actually word got to us that Theresa was not happy, which we had witnessed ourselves. Right. And then she came to us, and we have a big heart, my girls and I, and it just destroyed us watching the digression of Nugget through the process of filming season 1. And we just, it's just not in our nature not to help. So when Theresa came and said, hey, we would love y'all to be involved, what can you do? There was no hesitation. I immediately called the girls and said, what do y'all think? It's going to be hard to do. And they were like 100%. Like, these are, they're our show family. There's no questions asked. So we just dusted everything off, brought everything over, and said, let's do this. But not really with an intention of saying there's going to be a Nugget team. We were just going to kind of get in, help them through all of this. And it just kind of transformed itself into that. It was never our intention. We were just kind of trying to help behind the scenes. I thought initially we're just going to kind of help behind the scenes, and that just isn't how it all
played out now.
Yeah. Didn't play out that way at all. You were up and center.
And Kim, I have a feeling you're kind of like me, is we get a little competitive. And that's
Just a little bit.
just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And you're like me, I have this really strong justice streak in me that if something happens to somebody, I am not going to abide it, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows about it. And when someone's treated what I think is unfairly, I'm going to do everything I can either to facilitate that not happening again or trying to right it. So I completely understand what happened.
And let's just talk about that. Let's talk about the pig show that you threw. And I think all of us, because we had a lot of listeners, there was a lot of comments of, holy shit, Kim McCullough just said that.
She just went there.
She just went there at her pig
Fired.
show.
Shots are
Yeah,
fired.
I love Josh.
We love
Josh
it.
said
Yeah.
shots are
We love
fired.
it.
That was true.
What's that? When you, because obviously we're talking about at your show, and you made a very important point that this show was going to give back, and that this wasn't going to be like other shows where people have taken the money and allegedly gotten whatever, plastic surgery or whatever. Did you plan on saying that, or was that just in the moment where, like, as my grandma Hazel said, you just had to show your ass a little bit?
I did make it a point to say that because I had been trying to have a face-to-face with Michelle through the whole season, and she would not.
Yeah.
Great. But that was one of those moments where we all kind of, you heard the car wheels screech, and we all like, this is how it's gonna be. And we all started to see that, and the other things shifted throughout the series. And one of the things we're not really gonna, one of the people we're not gonna be talking to is Tyler, because it really hurt us how kind of all of that went down. And but it was interesting how the show lined up. The first episode, season 1, was all about the Boleros versus the Reens, kind of in that one place. Then the world opens up to where it's kind of Reens and you guys versus Bolero and Tyler. So, and that's, of course, that is a simplified storytelling in the way, but that's how reality television works, as you would imagine. But just wondering, I want to know what you guys kind of felt like as you were going through filming and seeing all this happen and thinking, was this what I signed up for? Did you expect anything like this?
No.
No.
Not at all. No.
I mean, I don't know what you were told, but we were told it was going to be a documentary on the kids and their blood, sweat, and tear, and the whole process through the showing. We knew nothing of the backstory of the drama. That was season 1 was a shocker for us when it. Yeah, we see it when y'all see it. So when we saw it, we were all like, "Oh my gosh!"
So, and was everybody? Because I know, and I know that, like, I'm imagining the Boleros were probably very surprised at that edit of season 1. And so I'm surprised they even came back for season 2. So I'm excited. I'm going to ask them that. But when was it known kind of in the pig community where,
I love that there's a pig community.
In the pig community though, was it known that, at least the way the show kind of at least painted it in the edit, is that, the Reens and y'all were kind of more on the up and up, and that the Boleros were known as kind of ruthless pig people. Is that true in the pig community, or no? Or is that just something?
There are rumors. I mean, there are rumors about the Boleros for sure. And I mean,
I know they tried to this season maybe play down some of those rumors, but those rumors have been around for a while. Yeah.
For a while.
Gotcha.
And what do you feel like and so you filmed it, and now obviously you've seen it. Was there anything you felt like that wasn't communicated this season that either of you wish was?
a lot actually. Yes. The fact that, apparently there's, the rumor mill is that I still owe Michelle money, and this is why she kicked us off the team. And it's just back and forth. And so I would personally like it to be known that I did pay her over $6,500 for my pigs my feed, everything like that, and still to have my son treated the way he was. There was no agreement about us cleaning the barn or us not cleaning the barn. And if you go back and look at season 1 and then season 2, you catch a whole bunch of slip ups on her part about things that she says.
Gotcha.
And so, I mean, Nugget busted his butt. I mean, you have to in order to be able to show pigs. I mean, you have to be in there. It's a commitment, and it's an everyday 24-hour thing. But we didn't clean the barn. They would pay for everything, which was not true at all.
Hey,
Gotcha.
Do you get charged for coaching?
The Bolero I did, but not with this group. This group has been amazing. I mean, just taking us in and we're family, and it's a totally different feeling because we were with family and we didn't get treated like family. And then you meet these strangers and it's like they're, Nugget is really, they do look out for his best interest. And I'm honored that they accepted us. I mean, I really am because
That's
who was
lovely.
taking
Y'all are cool people. I mean, we want the cool kids with us.
It's Nugget. It's all Nugget.
Pig coaching, is that a normal thing or no? For
I
pig
didn't.
coaching?
We didn't hear you.
Is
that
there a
again?
normal charge for pig coaching? Is that something that normally people do or not?
There's clinics you pay to go to, but when you are representing that you have a team, that's normally included in the fact that you're representing that team.
Got
In a
it.
team.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got it.
that's good. Yeah, that's good info. Kim, what about, is there anything that you felt like you wish had been shown this season that wasn't?
Oh, there was a lot of things. There was a lot. There was a lot of things that led up to me in the last episode. There was a lot that didn't get
I
shown.
bet. Yeah.
I think there was a lot. I would like to say that there was a lot of Nugget having to break down, and we had to
Build him up.
from like the ground up. I know people were like, I think it was the episode that Nugget doesn't know how to he doesn't answer a question in a showmanship, and people were saying, well, if you were coaches, you would. When you go into school and they give you that first test at the beginning of the year to kind of see where everybody's at. Well, that particular show, Tyler's show, we wanted to see actually what he knew. So we gave him very little coaching at all, and we gave more encouragement. So we videoed it. I'm real big on videoing it and then coming back after and breaking down that. So what didn't get showed, because there's a lot of tears that y'all didn't see this year. And I'm not talking about with just Nugget and Theresa, with all of us going through that growth process with them that didn't get shown. So that I thought they may have missed that a little bit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I have to say one of my favorite scenes was you guys where Nugget was learning focus, because with the Boleros, they were just kind of, they'd say things to him in the ring and they would tell him to do things and he would get distracted. And you guys were like saying things and holding up pictures and he learned to focus. And it was such a great way to kind of to add a little bit of healing, but do something funny. And it's one of those great moments of reality television where that happens and we get to see, feels like a private moment too, but it was just, I really enjoyed that. And I love seeing Nugget grow through this season. And
there was something that we noticed that he did constantly, which he was so used to being
Told what to do.
that he would not look at the judge and would look out to the stands for their approval. So why if you go back and look at season 1, they're kind of Nugget this, Nugget that. Well, the judge hears that, right? So the judge is hearing him being corrected in the ring. So he started second guessing himself and kept looking that way. And so that's where that came in to like, look, these are just people. They're nothing to be worried about.
Body language changed this summer or this season. Just the way he walks, and like I noticed in season 1, he has his head down more, his head's up more, and just
like the pigs, his head's up.
His head's up. Like
Head held high, yes.
Yeah.
It really
was a lot of work.
Well, and I think it's just, I mean, I had tears in my eyes with that moment with him and Jordan out there, just like when they did the dance and she was coaching him. And I think their bond too, she just, it's, they just seem to have a really unique, just teacher student, even though Nugget still has a crush on her, I'm sure. But
She's beautiful.
she seems to have this wonderful bond, and she's really, it's just wonderful to see somebody who Jordan's, still young herself, but takes someone under her wing like that.
And you didn't see it in season one, but after he would show in season one and not place, and you didn't see him getting berated by four or five people, or even if he won, right?
Yeah.
Jordan would go behind them and take him away.
Yeah.
And say, it's okay, buddy. You
did good.
You did good, regardless of what you're being told right then and there, So when we had the opportunity to work with them, I mean, Jordan was like on it. And I think she says it in one of her interviews. They broke them down. Now we got to build them up.
Yes, I remember that. I think it's so interesting what you guys are talking about, because I see it sometimes in competitive children's sports or even any kind of competition. I was a musician, so even I saw it with kids in piano competitions, even where I would see parents, you'd see a different way of parents saying, no, great job, you did what you needed to do. And you would also see parents going, come on, you need to do better than that. And I was always taught by my parents, those parents are doing it more for themselves than their kids. And it's just such a good example of this is how we encourage kids. We don't nitpick everything they do. Everyone's doing their best. We know that, and so
we're real big, or I'm real big on, I'm going to show you how you perform. Now you tell me what you thought was good or what you thought you need to correct. Because I could tell anybody, exactly what I saw, but I want them to learn it. And that's something we told Nugget is when we tell you we took him from the ground up, I'm not kidding you. There was so much that we did not realize that he didn't know, because he either had it done for him, and then Theresa jump in and correct me, or he was told how to do it for that moment. So we had to take him back to the basics. Right. And then show him his confidence. And that's something we just kept re-saying is, we believe in you. We know, we've seen you at your top level. We're just gonna be here to help you get back to that top level. But we were really surprised how much, other than going into the ring, he didn't know. So now we'll quiz him about stuff all the time.
Right. I think let's just shift gears just one second, and I want to ask Theresa. We've heard that Nugget listens to our show sometimes. We're praying that you are maybe not letting him listen to the whole thing.
Hopefully not.
But I assume, because you're not a terrible mother, you would do that.
That is so true. I listen to you all the time, and Nugget gets to tune in to segments of parts of what the show is, and I think there was one part where you were making fun of Michelle, and like there was pig poop flying everywhere and squealing, and and I'm like, Peyton, oh my gosh, these guys, they crack me up. And he's like, oh my God, Mom, I love them. Can I be on the show? And I had actually emailed y'all, Nugget is interested in doing the show, but he only gets to see parts or hear parts of your show. And
Teresa's real good at previewing y'all.
We will interview him for season 3.
If there's a season 3, we will definitely
do that.
Definitely have him on.
We can have a PG-13 one. Yeah. Maybe get him in canon.
Yes,
I would love that, because we love canon too. How do you, because Nugget did blow up from this, and and really kind of, he is one of the stars of the show. How do you protect your kid from that? How do you how does he watch the show? How do you make sure he doesn't get a big head? It's just, I'm totally terrified of having children in this day and age with social media and everything. So how do you navigate that with him, Theresa?
Well, I do everything first. So if it's a new episode, I watch it first. So I know how to react to any of the questions that he's going to ask me later on when we watch it together as a family, And so I had to prepare myself for a little bit, because then, you watch it on TV and then you relive that whole moment all over again. And then I have to kind of see how emotional he's going to get, or if he's going to be like, yeah, I got that buckle that day. I remember that. Yeah. But it's just kind of hard to say So I have to watch everything first, and I have to listen to y'all first, and then I can kind of like keep track of where I can cut it off and then put it back on so he can get the
What
good.
I make the dick joke at
Smart
2010.
Smart move, Theresa.
Was there? And I remember this moment, but if there was another moment, what was a moment that Nugget watched back that he really was affected by? Because I know for me, probably the most affecting moment was the moment that he saw Michelle show and almost had a panic attack. Did you let him see that? And if so, how did he react to that? Seeing it back.
Well, the whole season we've been telling them like, you just ignore her. She's nobody. Just ignore her. You know, just. And he was so worried the whole season. He was worried that she was gonna come up to him and talk to him. And so you know, we had to like everybody. You know, when there is a village. I mean, Nugget had a village behind him. He did. If it wasn't Kim or Jeff, it was Jody and Josh looking out for him to watch wherever he went because. You know, he doesn't want his mom there all the time right beside him. I mean, he's like, I can't pick up chicks like this, Mom, you know? And so, like, so, you know, that was one of the worst things is, you know, I know my kid's terrified of this lady. And, you know, if that comes to a point where she does talk to him, like, how am I going to respond? Because I'm not very great at being verbal. I'm going to be in attack mode. It's on. Let's
Mama bear, yeah.
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 So
it's yeah, that's interesting. So one more question, and I just have to ask this. Near, I think it was in the final episode when we were basically you both found out you were not allowed to register or be in the show at the show, and there was just and Jody Reen drops the line. What was it when she was saying?
She's like,
No Country Showdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the showdown. Yeah. What did she say? What was it? What did she say?
I forgot what she did, but we always said on the show it was like Jody knew it was dynamite and she just lit the match.
No, that's not true at all.
Yeah,
because it seemed like that in the editing, so that's why
that wasn't.
How did that moment happen? And explain it from y'all's perspective.
Well, see, this had been like an ongoing thing because we were not wanting to go to the show. We didn't want to partake in that at all. We didn't want to have, you know, I didn't want anything to do with Michelle. We were done, and so,
I don't know. None of the teams wanted to go to the show.
But Nugget really wanted to go to that. That's what we
he
saw.
did. He did. And some of the footage that wasn't shown was, you know, Nugget, and it just blew my mind because I'm like, Nugget, I don't want to go. I don't think it's a good idea because we don't know. We're in their court. And so they're not going to let us win. They're not going to let us place. I mean, because, they've said all this negative stuff. I said, so let's not go. And he's like, okay, look, Mom. He's having like the mom talk to me. And I'm like, okay. He's like, Mom, look. We need to get past it, and we need to look to our future. So we just put that in the back, and I will show her in the ring, and I will leave it at that. And I'm like, holy shit, who is this kid? Because this kid just like was way more mature than I was. And I'm like, oh no, we're not going to go because I'm going to lose it with this lady. But no, he was like, no, I'm going to prove to them how badass I am. And I'm like, okay, Nugget. So he was, dead set on going, and even to that day we came to the bar, and I'm like, we don't have to go. It's okay. We don't want to be part of it. But
Kim, what was it like for you in that moment before you go and talk to them? What were you thinking of when you were just standing there before you talked to her? What was happening?
I expected that I was going to be thrown out. We had heard it all from the moment we had our show. We had heard it. She had called all kinds of people and made it very clear that they were out for me. So we knew that there was a 99.9% chance I was going to be thrown out. So much so that I drove myself separately so that the team could stay and show. Because I was adamant that I was not going to put money in that woman's pocket, because we were not going to pay for another Bolero Christmas. They show that security guard, which he's not, which found out is I get riled or wired. I know y'all like my little wired. I got a little wired because he grabbed me. I got wired because some man who didn't identify himself grabbed me and told me and pushed me to get out. And that's when I was like, whoa,
I I'm normally get wired, but for different reasons. But I could understand why you would also be angry
Yes.
in that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was, yeah, I didn't, I even go like, who are you? And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm security. Well, he wasn't, but and when they show me turning around, he had been pushing me from my back, and I had had
that would piss me off
That
too.
pissed me
I
off.
was, yeah, and I even turned around and said, "Knock it off." I mean, they showed there was a lot that didn't get showed, but there were specific things that, like,
Yeah.
I was done. Yeah, like that was it.
Yeah.
But,
So surprising, though, I think to everyone that the kids couldn't show.
well, that's
That was
immediately what she went to. Is, well, none of them are showing, which was ridiculous. She was upset at me because I called her out right before that about the show and the ridiculousness, and that it was, the money wasn't going back to a nonprofit; it was going to
Her pocket.
Yeah. So she did not want. She didn't want the truth.
But it's funny though, because it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids, and so you just kicked out 5-6 people from a team. I mean, how is that about the kids?
It's hard to ignore that. Yeah.
It's hard to ignore
Yeah.
that.
When
But we had
what-
great. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're going to say.
No, Theresa talks about us having a village, but it just blew me away of how many families, when they found out that we had been kicked out, just left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just left.
We didn't see that.
Well,
You didn't see
saw
that.
the rings.
We
Yeah.
saw the rings. Yeah, we didn't see the rest
Oh,
of the
there
community.
was several.
more.
There was probably 40 plus pigs that pulled
Wow.
away.
Wow.
That there was, I'm going to say, at least 5 families, and these families brought 10 plus pigs.
Pigs.
And I will go on record to say the Reens had pigs in their trailer.
They did.
Sorry, Tyler. That was a bunch of baloney.
So it's funny you bring that up, because I wanted to ask. Tyler had a great fall from Grace, I think, this season. We even had people. We normally don't talk about news, but people sending me screenshots of him holding. I know what this is because I'm from Oklahoma, like a Sonic hard seltzer at a show, like at 8:30 in the morning. So we don't know what's going on with Tyler. But from your perspective, what are both of your thoughts on the whole Tyler and Reen situation?
The Reens are great people. I mean, they will do anything. They've help Nugget out. I mean, they will do anything, and they truly mean, like, for the kids. I mean, they really do.
It hurt me
Yeah.
to watch that occur. I mean, we had some wind of what was going on, but we didn't know to what extent. So to watch it play out, I hurt for him, because in our show, I mean, they show him talking trash, but I was one of the first ones that walked up and hugged him when Karis won. Karis won her first buckle at our show. Yeah. I mean, I went over and congratulated him. We had been very supportive of them, even though we kind of knew there was a rift between him and the Reens. So for me, I just kind of hurt for him, because you can see him spiraling, and it's not a good place. Yeah. It's not a good place. So, that's rough. That was rough to watch.
It is rough. Yeah. It's we wish him the best. We interviewed him the first season, and we really
we're not going to interview him this season because we don't know. I think it'd be very productive, because we think it would just be another.
I think he's in a negative space.
He's in a bad place.
But I do think I think Tyler has a good heart. I think he's just going through a lot right now. It'll be interesting what the Reens say when I ask them that. But still, because that's why I said it. This community, if it's such a tight knit community, when there's things, that's so interesting hearing about that so many people left the Bolero show, because it's this type of tight knit community.
Pig show people.
It is pig show people, and there's. Is there? What's happened since when did the show stop airing, and what's happened since then? Yeah, since filming. I'm sorry.
When did you guys end filming?
December. Michelle's show was our last show.
Oh, yeah,
and there was some little bit of
the Christmas commercial. Yes.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
So
and you. I was like, oh my gosh.
favorite is the end where it says no refunds and it's not centered.
Oh,
That's
no.
what I love.
That,
I'm totally going to tell her that too. I'm totally going to tell her that.
yeah. No, Mandy's laugh at that was like the whole
The
episode
best
for
part,
me.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was the way she laughs at that would made the whole show for me.
That was pretty great. What has happened since then? Is there any hopefully good things, but have rivalries calmed down since you stopped filming, or
No,
Yes.
not at all.
No.
Mm.
Yeah, it's gotten worse.
It's
gotten worse, has it?
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have to wait till season 3.
well, if they're not
hopefully,
is there anything you can mention of something that's happened?
that you're not contractually.
Well,
A lot has happened
yeah,
for sure,
Yeah,
and nothing positive by any means.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure if you've seen social media, you've seen some of it. There's definitely
A little bit.
Yeah.
We try to steer clear just because we try to steer clear of social media, but we hope that Nugget's in a good place. It sounds like he still is.
He's thank you. Yes,
he's a little warrior,
He
a
is.
survivor. He's
Yeah.
through all this. Yeah.
I don't think I could handle all this, as an 11-year-old, and then just come out still shining. You know what? I'm going to show her, and just so positive. I mean, when we got with Kim, this is by far a great group. I mean, they have just supported him, and you see him just change from this broken down little boy to like this little pubescent teenager. Like, all right, and it's great to know that I got my Nugget back and then some.
It's really, I just got my brother into the show, and my brother's a softie, and he called me and we talked about it. He even got a little teary because he's still on season 1, but he said that moment where Nugget meets that pig for the first time and starts talking to that pig, and so that's what I was thinking of. Like at Nugget, we describe
You can't script those moments.
Yeah, where I'm from, we would call Nugget a tender heart. He's got a tender heart, and so that's what he reminds me of. And so I'm very happy that y'all are in the place you're in.
I would just want to say one thing. One more question. In closing, what is next for Team Golden Nugget?
Yes.
What you guys going to be? Are you guys starting show season? When does it start? Or
We already
maybe
have pigs. We have pigs in the barn. We've been gracious enough that through the filming, more kids are getting involved. So we will actually have more kids on our team. I had a mother approach me the other day and said that they're from Texas. They don't live very far from here. They have never done anything with livestock, but because of Nugget, they're going to show pigs. So
wonderful.
We are helping. I will say this, that when season 1 aired, and myself included, because we went into it as a documentary, we were just very upset with the amount of drama that was shown. So a lot of the people in the agriculture community did not like the show at all. And our biggest critics came from the livestock community. How dare we put this out there? And I came back in season 2, not only to help them, but I reiterated it over and over again that we didn't want the drama. We really wanted it to be about the agriculture community. Yeah. And not some things were shown. You guys got to see the birthing and the castration, and they did make an honest effort to show y'all more of that. They didn't show enough of the kids showing. They showed a little bit of showmanship, but Nugget, sometimes we would take 6, 7 pigs. So there was a lot more showing of the kids that they didn't show. So there are some talks, and that was something that we said that's got to be more of, if y'all are going to do this. So, we don't know if there's going to be a season 3, but we have, said that these things are important to us. So I know there's ag people that watch the show that say they don't watch the show, and we're getting more and more of that kind of behind, told to us that, yeah, we love that you guys are at least showing that that's the heart. That's what, we all do this,
I feel like it's moments of the show for us when we hold our breath is when they're showing pigs.
And I think you guys are right. I think you guys are going to make the ag community, you're going to wind up making them very proud.
I think so.
Because this happens every time there's something on television and there's a community that says, well, they're diluting it. You're not really seeing all of it. But they're going to take, excuse me, you're going to take all the good publicity they can get. So we're all for it. If it makes more kids want to show pigs and get into it, that's a great thing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. We're super. That's like,
that was a big thing.
yeah,
I mean,
we're just in awe of the amount of people that have reached out to us.
That's
Yay.
great. Anything, final thoughts? Y'all, if this is it, if you want to say your piece, this is it, or y'all done?
I don't think there's any piece I want to say, but we're coming for you, season 3.
We're hoping season 3.
Yeah.
We've got a good team. We've got we're building it up regardless. I'm gonna tell you right now, regardless if there's a season 3 or not, we're building a team, and how our lives have transformed off of this. This wasn't where we were headed, a year ago, but we've got a lot of things in the works that regardless if there's a season 3, you can still follow us on TikTok and YouTube, and we'll be.
And Nugget has merchandise now,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, what? So, where can people find all this?
Where can people find all of this? Yeah. Tell us.
It's on pigpluscompany.com. There's a Nugget Nation.
Nugget Nation.
Nugget Nation.
Nugget Nation collection on there. And we'll be posting all kinds of stuff. We have a lot. That was just, to be honest, we did not know that the show was going to kick off when it did. We were told it was going to kick off later. And then we, like the 2 days before, hey, get ready, it's coming. So we're kind of behind a little bit on some of that,
Right.
but we have some really cool merch.
World, we don't know what's happening, Kim. We don't either, so you're fine.
And tell us where you can find you on TikTok too.
It's Pig Plus. You're going to ask me, hold on. See, this is what my girls do. This is what Jordan and Morgan do, but it's everything is, it's Pig Plus Co. So it's Pig Plus Company, because my girls also showed steers and did a lot of other things. So we're going to be throwing some, we're real big in the rodeo too, horses, stuff like that. So we're throwing, it's going to be Pig Plus, and there'll be a lot of other things, but a big focus is on Nugget Nation. We're growing a group on Facebook for it. We're putting out stuff out there that you maybe didn't see on the show. The production company's been really gracious and gave us clips and stuff that are a little bit edited different than what you see on the show. So there'll be some stuff. We're going to keep it going all summer long. You'll be able to visit it.
So we're going to go to San Antonio one time, because the Reams have said that come on down. So we'll come down, and we'll just, because we want to be, you're not going to be able to show me, but actually I want Jake and I in the ring learning how to show a pig.
I would love that.
It's old timers. You can come and actually compete.
Old timers? What are you talking about, old timers? But I will say, y'all, if you're in South Texas, go to a pig show.
Yes,
go to a pig show. And anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Kim and Theresa, for talking to us.
Yes, we're going to be in Austin soon. I know the Reams are coming up. Y'all are more than welcome to come, because we're doing a live show. So we know
it's in July, right? I think I've looked up.
You're invited.
You're invited. We'll take care of you.
And I know we didn't get to Cali this time, but we promise to get to Cali next season, because we are fans of Cali.
Oh, we love her. Yes. Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you for
having
having
us.
us. Yes.
No problem.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.